So, guys, we're back with 100% Authentic with Queen Pin and the Wingman, the awesome, awesome Wingman. No special guest this week. No puppy, no fur baby.
Oh, no special. I got a new. Hold on. There's tons, but we got this guy.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that one. That's one I
got a
haven't
ton
seen.
of them.
Oh my gosh. So, oh my gosh, and I see you've got Baby Yoda up there in the corner.
I do. I think I've showed you. There's a Squishmallow pile up here.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And then there's those.
That's super crazy.
And then there's some up there and some there. Rhea and her daughter collect them. You got to see their bedrooms and everything. I mean, there's hundreds throughout the house. They're hilarious with this stuff.
So crazy. So crazy.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. So we're getting into one of the craziest things, and I think this is a social media thing. I really think this is social media driven, is the comparison. The comparison lifestyle. I'm comparing myself to you, you're comparing yourself to me. And one thing is when we compare ourselves to one another, guess what? You either come out on top or on bottom. And more than likely, you're trying to come out on top. So, yeah, super crazy.
Call it keeping up with the Joneses. I've done podcasts on this before.
Yeah. And this is one of the things is where both your and my expertise come into play. Because this is where people are either spending a lot, trying to prove that they have it, or they go in and say, you know, hey, Wingman, make me over.
Yeah.
And expecting you to pull out a miracle.
Status.
Yeah.
For what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, status is across the board. That's what people got to if it's who you date, who you have a child with, who you marry, it's all social. It's a status. Let's call it for what it is. It's what you wear, where you work, what you do. No matter what anyone says, you're most likely doing a lot of things you're doing because of status. A woman, if you're buying Louis Vuitton, or if you're buying Coach, or if you're buying Michael Kors, or whatever you're doing. Men, you want this type of car, or you want to live in this type of neighborhood. You want to wear, again, this type of designer. It's all status driven. And a lot of us don't want to admit that. They kind of bullshit and say, no, I don't give a shit. The truth is you do. So.
Oh, definitely. Everybody always cares what the status is, what they're doing, what they're not doing. But it's so crazy. And I think since we started with, and I think it's more Instagram than Facebook. And it's more Instagram and Twitter driven, because that's where you see the most pictures. That's where everybody's coming across something, a video, you know, I'm in this fancy restaurant, or I'm in the club and I'm spending $10 on a bottle of water. And I'm just to show you that I'm in the club, and someone's sitting on home, you know, they're scrolling, you know, you're doing the scroll fingers.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, my life isn't like that. Or what am I doing on a Saturday night? You know, it becomes a thing. And now you're out to prove, well, you know, I know people that are like, okay, well, I'm going to take my next paycheck and I'm going to book a trip to Aruba.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but you still have to pay bills. So what? So-and-so went to Aruba and I'm going to. It's like, okay, but can you afford to go to Aruba?
Yeah.
And that's really what it is.
Competition a lot of times too. It's not just social media. I think most people don't want to admit it. They're competing with their family members, right? Siblings. Also what's expected of them, their friends, who's kind of moving to better areas than them, who's buying better cars than them. I'd say for men, that's a real kind of thing. Don't kid yourself. Whose kids are going to better schools. Same with women, who's buying better designers, right? Again, who's maybe having more
not
kids.
Even designers, not even designers, not even more kids. The craziest thing is, well, I want to know if I will tell you this, gentlemen, please listen to me. If your wife all of a sudden out of nowhere wants a new appliance, and she hasn't been to Home Depot, ask whose house she's been to, and then ask her to take you there, because
Mm,
more than likely they have something new that she wants.
yeah. It's Here's the deal. So let's kind of get into this with status again, because that's kind of what this is really going to revolve around, because social media, again, like you're discussing and things, and me helping people with their image, I'm not a dude who's going to teach you how to be a corporate or somebody who's going to help you with investing or stocks or where to buy real estate. I could give you my 2 cents. But when I teach image, it's you becoming who you truly want to become within your budget. And this is where people get lost because they end up in debt, way more money, and they end up way over their head with a lot more stress, as me and you discussed. But a lot of things that you can do in your life if you don't have a ton of money. So I'll use something big. My friends in Florida, I know a lot of them that ended up buying a boat and had this big expense, insurance, and a lot of them don't live on a lake, so they have to get all that. They have to have a place to store it, all these expenses, when all they wanted to do was fish. So here's the funny thing is all you had to do was kind of go to a pier or rent a boat or do other things. You didn't have to take on this huge expense to keep up with the Joneses again. And I get your other buddy may own a boat. One may have a house on the intercoastal. One may be on the lake, whatever the case may be. But a lot of times when it comes to things we want to do, doing less sometimes is so much more, if that kind of makes sense. And I know we hear that our whole life, but buying a $500,000 home when you only make a certain amount of money, right? And then all of a sudden you decide if you're going to have a family too, or more kids, you got to kind of think of that as well. Before you know it again, what are you doing to yourself emotionally,
Right,
physically,
right,
financially? People don't look at that. They only look at the here and now. Oh, I can afford that payment right now. Well, do you want your kids to go to college? Do you want to have money saved up for their
right,
wedding? Do you want these things, or do you have to have a lot of things? Do you need a $10,000 purse right now? Because if you ask me, you got $150,000 already stuck in your closet between purses and what is any of that doing for you? I'm just saying. So
right,
that's kind of where I think I help people with that. But status,
right, right, right. And I think that's really what we're not realizing is that we're striving for status.
yeah,
We're striving
I
for
strive real
the
quick.
hierarchy.
LaShawna, I strive and I tell people strive for lifestyle. Does that make sense? I'd rather be
Mm,
able to
yeah,
do whatever I want, whenever I want, buy whatever I want if I live in a 1 bedroom condo compared to living in a mansion, or say I have a 5 bedroom home that most of the rooms aren't even being used and I have to make $7,000. And I've been there before, or I got to make all this money, but I can't do anything with it, if that kind of makes sense. I didn't mean to jump
right,
in, but like it's your lifestyle. You got to create the lifestyle you choose. And a
right,
lot of times
right,
you think you're creating a better lifestyle, but all you're doing is creating more debt, more stress, more aggravation, especially when you start buying more and more possessions. So go
right.
ahead.
And I think that's really what it is that creating that lifestyle. And the thing is, I I don't think we find out, going back to identity, we don't find out who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of finding out who we are, we decide to, go crazy with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a lot of people say, Rich, how do you live this lifestyle? It seems like you do all these other things. Well, I stopped spending money on stupid shit. I stopped overspending. I stopped doing things for everyone else. I'd hate to say it. Like when you go buy a home, do you really need, you could probably live in a 2,000 nice square foot home in a nice area. Do I need to go spend 700 grand? I get in a better area. Yeah, that's wonderful. Now I've looked at, and it's not just the payment, it's the insurance, it's the upkeep, it's everything else that is attached to it. It's getting furniture for the house. It's all these things that you're not even thinking about, that when it needs a new roof, it's a huge roof. You have a plumbing issue, it's a huge issue. It's again, if here's the deal, I don't care how any of your friends are living or any of your family members. Okay. Because if you're living to live like them, if that's the life you want to live, wonderful, then go do it. But a lot of people end up doing a lot of things for a lot of reasons they don't want to do. And they have to address that, especially if you're married and one spends maybe a lot more than the other, but you're killing yourself to keep up still financially, maybe whatever the case may be. If you can only afford one child, consider it. I know maybe whoever you're with wants two, three, or four, But maybe, if you want to kill yourself again for the rest of your life to support that, you can do it if you want. But if you want to start your own business, say, and you only maybe right now have one child, say, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to work for where I'm working. I don't see any growth and I'm not making enough money. And you want to do something else in your life, you've got to start doing those type of things. And that's what we're kind of talking about.
Right. Like, I don't know if you remember Antoine Dodd, the hide your kids, hide your wife guy.
No.
Okay. He actually got famous. He was from, I think it may have been Louisiana, somewhere in the Midwest, somewhere in the South Midwest.
Hmm.
Or should I say Southwest? Um, and there was something terrible that happened, and they got him on the news because something happened with his sister, and he was pretty much saying, there's a stalker, there's a predator in the area, hide your kids, hide your wife. And that became like this telltale
Hmm.
thing. They made, social media made it go viral. There was
Right.
a song and everything. So he became pretty, everybody wanted him. They wanted to interview
Okay.
him rather quickly.
Yeah.
And he actually came into quite an influx of money.
Mm-hmm.
He then moved to LA because people were telling him, you can become an actor, which he had a great personality, possibly could have become a really great actor.
Mm-hmm.
But with the money he had, he went and he bought this huge house
Yeah.
because people told him that's what he needed to do.
Right.
And he didn't realize the cost of, again, maintenance.
Yeah. Taxes.
And yeah,
Every
he within a few years he had actually lost the house.
Oh yeah. Most athletes, actors, and every entertainment, and they lose way more than you'd ever imagine because they're keeping up with
Really?
oh my God. Fighters. I mean, look at Mike Tyson, but it's not only the big time ones. Most athletes, they buy homes, a lot of them. Like if your average career in the NFL is 3 to 4 years, you go buy a $5 million home. I get you may make $20 million. But again, unless you maybe flip it, you may make money on your real estate. Let's call it for what it is. But a lot of them end up spending a lot of money on cars, boats, a certain lifestyle. Then they stop making that income, but they still want to keep that lifestyle. Well, now they can't make the payment. Like 50 Cent or any of them, how much money they end up losing. Maybe at certain times, MC Hammer, we know the stories. Yeah, there's a I don't know if you ever heard the story about the Italian fisherman that
The Italian fisherman?
yeah, there's an Italian fisherman in Italy that he catches the most fish, and then a guy from America comes over and he hears about him and he goes and sees, and he has all these tricks on how to catch all these fish. And the American guy says, "Hey, listen, I want to take you back to America. I want you to show everybody how to do this. And then once we do that, we can start manufacturing our own, or we start our own company, and then we can start, doing all these things." And he's like, "Okay." And he's like, and then you'll make a certain amount of money. You'll start making more money. And he's like, "Oh, that sounds wonderful." He's like, "But then we have to grow. So we're going to have to take out loans, and I want to build this up, and I want to start you teaching it not only to people in the United States, but all over North America. And then eventually the world. You're going to have to put a lot of time and effort into it, and you'll make a lot. And then in a certain amount of time, it could be 10, 20 years. Then we sell it for all this money. And then you get to go and do whatever you want to do." And the Italian looks at him and he goes, "I'm already doing that." So you don't always have to do all these other things to kind of get back to do what you want to do. And that's kind of how I live my life. And I know it sounds crazy, but my production partner told me that story and he has it written. But a lot of us can go do what we want to do. You just have to start doing it to a certain degree. Right. And we're doing things a lot of times we love. We just may not even realize or appreciate what we're doing. Your whole dream was to have a family. A lot of times once we have a family, we're exhausted. We're sick of one another and we're burnt out. Well, sit back, self-awareness and say, wow, I have a family here. I'm going to Disney or I'm going to go do this with them. We're at a dinner table with my family. They're all healthy. This is amazing, but we seem to forget about a lot of these type of things.
So, we get into this whole thing, like you said, keeping up with the Joneses, and we don't realize it's those little grains of sand, those
Mm-hmm.
little grains of sand that make up the beach. And it's like, well, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do the other.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So that, and I deal with a lot of women that do this, with the whole, well, I have to do this to show Debbie at work that I went on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why must you show Debbie at work that you were able to take your family on vacation?
Right.
Was she going with you? Was she paying for it? No. So why does Debbie need to know that you went on vacation?
Yeah.
If you literally took a vacation from work for 2 weeks and you stayed at home and twiddled your thumbs and played with your kids or did whatever you wanted to do, what business is that of Debbie's at work? Other than the fact that you're trying to make sure that she knows that you have a great lifestyle.
Right.
Like, and actually, I was watching when I came to you with this idea. I was actually watching two YouTubers kind of go at it, and they both have a brand. They both have a kind of luxury brand. One is a femininity influencer,
Mm.
and I won't say any names because I don't want to really get into that contention. But one is a femininity influencer, and the other one, she is a luxury family lifestyle influencer.
Mm.
And so one is about she's about being fit and fabulous, and the other she's a curvy woman. She's not even really plus size. She's curvy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but something that and as you know, YouTubers, bloggers, podcasters, we follow each other.
Mm-hmm.
But something triggered one, and then there was this post made about, well, at least I have a husband and this, and I go online on, and it's like, and now they're making these rants about each other and kind of all these jabs and digs, and it's like, why? Are you happy with your life? Like, the crazy part was, what was it? One went as far as to make sure that she videoed her whole Valentine's Day date
Hmm.
to prove that she has the lifestyle that this woman would envy. Why? Enjoy your date. And the funny thing was, you could look at this guy and tell, like, her date was kind of like he was going along with it, but it's like this wasn't his cup of tea. Like, this wasn't what he wanted to do. He just wanted to take his girlfriend out.
Well, you understand they're trying to shock value. There could be other things that you don't even know about. The whole thing may be staged. When you see things on TV, reality shows, or anything else, I've been asked to be on reality shows, which sounds crazy in itself. A lot of this stuff is bullshitty. It's to get a lot of attention, as you know. So what we think is really happening may not be. I'm not saying in this case, but I think what you're saying too is a lot of us are doing things just for social media, right? That's why like a lot of people, as you know, go to a lot of places just so they can take a photo there. Let's call it for what it is,
Right.
right? Or just say that I've been there. Years ago, it was kind of, if you want to travel or do stuff, right? Let's call it for what it is. I think genuinely a lot of people want to do that. But now I think a lot of times, a lot of things that they want to do is a more, I'm not saying it's bullshitty. That's ridiculous. They still want to go and enjoy that. But a lot of it could be just to take a photo, which I get too. That's their right, though. Like, here's my theory. Anyone could live the life they choose as long as they don't want to hurt others. If you don't want to be a part of that, then don't be a part of it, right? So if you got a dude, if you're going to ask me on a date with a girl who says I'm going to record the whole video or record the whole date, I'd be like, get the hell out of my face. So
Right.
he had to sign a release. But my point being is, in life, keeping up with the Joneses and all these things, a lot of people, I think, too, pretend that other people are trying to keep up with the Joneses when they are as well, right?
Right,
They're
right. And
pointing
I
the
think
finger.
that's the other thing. It's like the pretense of, well, you know what, you're trying to be like somebody, and I'm just originally me. No, there is some comparison being made. There's a comparison being made.
And there's really, again, like, live the lifestyle you choose. If you want to even look like a celebrity or live a celebrity's life or do whatever the hell you got to do it. I think what me and you really, when we discuss things, we don't want people to destroy themselves while doing it. I think
Right,
emotionally or financially, or be self-aware to
right,
say, listen, you may have more to offer than being something other than maybe you're doing, and it could be bad. Like, I think too, like a lot of people may follow other people. I think young people see things
Right.
on TikTok or things, and they start following an image. It could be drugs, it could be alcohol, thinking it's cool
Right.
and all this. And before you know it, they're destroyed, right? Or something could happen. They can die, they could be raped, they could be whatever. Um, and I think that's another thing, keeping up with the Joneses, especially. I think a lot of times we think of just adults doing that, or middle-aged, right? Or whatever you want to say. It's young
It's
people now, I
everybody.
think,
Yeah.
doing that, hurting themselves. It could be stunts. It could be trying to get a lot of attention that somebody else did, or you're trying to exceed, even go beyond that, which I get. We have extreme sports, we have Olympics, we do all these things are amazing. Once it's kind of, I think, more in a controlled environment, it's when you kind of lose control. And people don't realize, a lot of times, people doing a lot of things that are exceptional at it, how long it took them to get there, how much practice it took. And keeping up with the Joneses, again, I don't even mean financially. It could be physical traits. Like, you want to become very big as a bodybuilder or lift a certain amount of weight, you hurt yourself. And athletes, or, there's other things. Fashion, women
Right.
may want to lose too much weight thinking they're going to be a supermodel too quickly, end up with anorexia. There's all these things.
That's true. That's true. And for those that don't know, one quick sidebar, there is a reason that a lot of those things that are listed as the don't like don't put your cat in the microwave, don't do this, don't do that. Believe it or not, as stupid as it sounds, somebody's done it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like, really? Yeah, somebody said it.
Lead, don't follow. I always tell, lead your own life. I mean, don't, you're going to take a pin, you're going to see other people, like, you'll be like, oh my God, I like that. Or I think that's cool to do and that to do. And kind of, and I talk about creating the blueprint for your own life, but make sure along the way, my theory is, if I help people with their image, I don't want to hurt them. And a lot of people do change their image or identity, which hurts them a lot of times. And you have the right to do whatever you want to do. But I do think a lot of people get excessive, again, when it comes to following other people. And a lot of the times you're following these people aren't who you think they are. It's staged. It's a lie. Rock and roll stars, or it could be extreme sports or athletes and all this. You think, oh my God, this is how you don't realize how much time and effort they also put into their work. So you may look at an NBA star or something and go, man, look at these in a strip club, or look at the lifestyle he leads. You don't look at the other 15 hours of his day when all he's doing is playing basketball, working out, and doing all these other things. You're kind of just looking at the other part of it, if that makes sense.
Right. Or
So
the fact that, yeah, the fact that a lot of even on some of the music videos and movies, luxury things are rented. They're not
100%.
bought. they're
Yeah.
they're they're rented. They're rented for the moment, like, what was it? I don't know if you remember in the 90s when Little Kim did some video, and the necklace she wore came with its own armed guard, and she put it on just for the video for that segment, and they took it right back off,
Mm-hmm.
and the guard took it away and took it back to the vault that it was supposed to be in.
Yeah.
So, you can't try to keep up with this, because guess what? It's not real.
Yep. A lot of it's fake.
It's not real. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Who was that one rapper who I talked about it with my daughter? He said he was getting ready to get on a private jet, and he took a picture of a jet and he uploaded it. And then someone saw it that follows him, and he was riding coach in like South.
Bow Wow.
Not South, was it Bow Wow? Yeah. And then they took a picture of him there, which, again, I'm not telling anybody how to promote their social media, but we're back to me and you trying to be 100% authentic. I would tell anybody, I'd rather tell my friends when I'm broke, or if I'm having I failed in a business, and I'm not doing well, and always take an honest approach instead of kind of pretending, fake it till you make it. I hate that bullshit. And you can do whatever you want to do. Fake it till you make it, if that's your mindset. But again, fake it until you make it, and you start spending thousands of dollars, maybe going out or doing things that you can't afford. How does that going to work out for you? I don't know.
Right.
But I don't like fake it till you make it. I like to be as genuine as possible at all times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. So
That's all
guys,
we got.
get it. Be original. Be you. Be happy with
Yes.
you. You the one thing is, here's the big takeaway. You have to live with you all the time.
Yep. Can't escape yourself.
So be happy with who you are.
Yeah. And it's a long road, life. Sometimes, you're going to have your ups and downs. So, And we're not telling anybody not to. I think I don't want to speak for you, but we want people to prosper. We want them to go after their dreams,
Yes,
goals, make as
yes.
much money as you can. We're not telling you to put the brakes on, but we definitely
No, we're
don't.
not. Yeah,
No, none of
definitely
that.
not. Don't be like, oh my gosh, Queen Pen and Wingman said that I need to live a broke life. No, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying
Yeah.
that.
And if
Please
you,
don't.
yeah, and if you
If
like
you want
people
it,
out,
go after it.
yeah. And if you do like people that are doing things you like to do and you want to emulate whatever career they're in, it could be a podcast guy, it could be a YouTuber, it could be an actor, it could be Elon Musk or an investor or whoever. Wonderful. But maybe take your time to truly figure out the right route to go and understand that their route is not going to be your route. I don't care who you think you are. You didn't live in the same place they lived in. You don't have the same maybe intelligence, or you may be more intelligent. You don't have the same lifestyle. You didn't grow up in the same time. You know, everything is different. So you really got to look at that and say, okay, I want to be this person or like this person, but I have to take an approach that works for me. Maybe learn a lot more than just not just that person, but other things regarding that subject or that lifestyle you choose to go after.
Definitely, definitely. So, guys, as always, we're being 100% authentic with you. And that's all we have for now, guys.